Hey, here we are once again on Root Access. Jamie DeGrazio, Brian Ritchey. Normally we delve into the tech questions and Genius Bar questions, and we have all those coming up in other segments. However, I thought we'd take a few minutes. We haven't had a chance on camera to talk since WWDC regarding the new iPhone. Just thought we'd share some thoughts, your thoughts on the phone. And now that we've had a few days, you know, it's like the morning after when you hear things like, oh, the data plan's $10 more, and oh, I can't get it online.
Well, I mean, I'm still excited about the new phone.
Okay.
I think it looks great. You know, the new features are great. The thing I'm probably most excited about is like the App Store, the games.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm excited about what my old phone should be able to do.
I mean, I'm not upgrading. I'm not that excited, but I think it's great. I mean, the price point is fabulous, $199, but the morning after, we sort of learned that, you know, in the long run, it's not really a cheaper phone.
No, it's more expensive over the 2-year plan.
But I think, people tend to look at that initial buy-in as they'll deal with the extra $10 a month. I think it's just, you know, seeing the price tag of $199 is a world of difference to a lot of people. So I think it'll be a success because of that price.
I just wonder if it's, I don't know, if it's the technology or heightened expectations or what, but take something like the forward-facing phone, right, or camera. There are Nokia phones now that have a camera in the front, camera in the back. So it's possible. It's not impossible to do. I just wonder if maybe they should have considered like the $199 phone, but then maybe a $299 phone that has some of those gadgets that people really wanted to see that should be able to be done.
Well, I think, and one thing you have to remember is, you know, there's going to be a 3.0 phone, whether it's this time next year or maybe in 6 months. So they do need something for when that hits.
Well, like copy and paste.
Copy and paste, SMS. But so they're going to be holding back some features probably until, you know, version 3. So maybe that's a front-facing phone. Maybe it's, I don't know, better battery life again, more storage, of course.
Well, and that's, you know, there was a blog entry on our blog about this that if the phone had been 3G to begin with, there wouldn't have been all this hype the past year leading up to this. So who knows? No one yet has figured out what the big hype is going to be for the next one. I don't think you can get that much mileage out of MMS and copy and paste. So maybe the forward-facing camera, video conferencing. Maybe that drives the next.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you have to remember, it's just like the iPod. At some point, the iPod sort of hit a wall in terms of its features. Yes, they came out with the iPod Touch, but until that came out, you know, you got color, you got more storage capacity. Yes, they made it thinner, they gave you a different color, but at some point, you can only do so many things with an iPod.
Right.
And I think that's going to happen with the phone. I mean, that's just the nature of what it is. It's a phone. So they have to stretch out those feature upgrades over the next maybe 2 or 3 years.
I think also you're going to see, I've been wondering, you know, how do you sell an iPod Touch when it's more expensive than the regular iPhone 3G now? And I'm wondering if you almost position that as an unlocked phone, where you're like, oh, well, you don't want to pay, you would love to have an iPhone for $199, but you don't want to be locked into AT&T. Well, here's a Touch, and it does all this stuff except make calls.
Yeah, I mean, I think either the iPods either need a bump in storage, a large bump, or
touches.
Especially. I mean, touches, or maybe just a price drop because they're, what is it, $299 now?
$299, and that's the model that is free after rebate for students right now with the college deal. Which, I mean, they do that deal every year, but the fact that it's focused on the Touch,
they're probably clearing out the channel.
Clearing out the lower end one. Steve will be on there saying, "Crazy Steve, everything must go." You know, those commercials he always does.
Yeah. What commercials?
Schiller's on a trampoline behind him.
But, I mean, for the most part, I mean, the keynote was exciting. The phone was exciting.
I guess the biggest disappointment was that we couldn't do anything that day.
Yeah.
No App Store.
Well, I mean, I found the keynote exciting. It does seem that some people were let down, but I think Apple's put in this position every year where they need to come out and totally wow people, and sometimes expectations are a little too high, and it's definitely hard to meet all those expectations every year.
Sure. It's funny to me, though, that they've used the same device, essentially. Last January, the iPhone took center stage because it was the first time publicly talking about it. Then last June was, okay, now it's available.
Yep.
This is the iPhone. Now, here we are, and we looked at the iPhone again. I just think, 3 out of the last 4 keynote events have really focused on the iPhone. Does there need to be another product?
Well, certainly something completely off the board, like a tablet or some sort of touch, notebook interface. Perhaps that's coming down the line. Maybe they do something with iTV eventually. Apple TV.
Apple TV. Because we know that, especially with the 10.6 Snow Leopard, we know that the OS is pretty much locked down for the next 2 years. We're not going to see any jaw-dropping new features there. You take that away, and honestly, for the desktops and laptops, it's going to be bigger drives, more battery life, faster processor, and it'll be about the same processor and RAM and battery life as PCs because they all use the same components at this point. So I think it's hard to wow them as much now that you're in Intel on the computers. Now, if you come out with something like the Air, or like you said, a tablet, something off the radar, okay, that's exciting.
Yeah, we did see some leaked patents last year. There was that one where the notebook slid into the desktop. Like the old, what was it, Duo that did that years ago.
Before my time.
There was the Wii Remote Wand patent. So maybe some of these things finally start to trickle out this year or early next year. Because like you said, if they're just going to give you speed bumps on the hardware, it's going to get kind of stale.
Maybe an Apple TV that sells.
There you go.
Let us know what you think. Don't forget your technical questions and questions about working at Apple Retail, behind the bar, or behind that magical door that goes to the back.
Yes.
Let us know what you'd like to know. Send us an email to root@thedigitallifestyle.tv. I'm gonna go get in line for a phone, I guess.
You are? Okay.
Work duty calls. So we'll talk to you later. Bye bye, everybody.